You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
To the golf, Spain's Jon Rahm has powered into contention at the year's final major, shooting an 8-under par 63 in the third round of the Open to move to 6 under. That has him 6 shots behind leader Brian Harman. Kiwi Ryan Fox, who started the day in a tie for 61st, has made up 20 places after going around Royal Liverpool in 2 under. Our man at the Royal Liverpool course right across the Open Championship has been Chris Bowers. Chris, you told us yesterday when we spoke around about this time about the forecast rain on day 3. Did it arrive?
It did, but it wasn't as bad as we thought, Jason. I mean, I woke up this morning and it was lashing down. By the time I got here, I had 2 spare pairs of shoes in my bag because I wasn't sure how saturated the course would be. But actually, I went out following Ryan Fox, and once he was on the 6th green, it sort of just eased, and there was this grey, rather Wagnerian sky, but not a lot came out of it until he just finished his round. And then it came back mid-afternoon, and I think it had an influence on some of the leaders just as they were going out, and then it dried up again in the evening. So we've had quite a pleasant day, really. It's certainly nowhere near as apocalyptic as the forecast implied.
Well, that's excellent to hear. Talk about Ryan Fox in a moment, but Jon Rahm with the round of the day and 8 under 63. What led to his success today?
I mean, it was interesting listening to him talk about it afterwards. He said, look, we practice hard and we envisage certain things, and it hardly ever happens, but just every now and again, it just all clicks. And he said, my first few holes, they were okay, but there was nothing special about them. And, he didn't get his first birdie until the 5th. And then he got a 5th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then 3 of the last 4. I mean, it was just one of those days where everything he did worked. I mean, he's a class act. He's a former major champion. But it worked for him, and it reminded me of that old Gary Player quote, the more I practice, the luckier I get. And, he struck lucky today.
Indeed he did. Brian Harman stays 5 shots clear of the field, a 2 under third round for him. He bogeyed to his first 4 holes, though, I see. Any jitters early on from Brian Harman?
Well, he says no. I mean, we were all getting very interested. At one stage, his lead was down to 2 strokes, not for long, but, he dropped 2, so it was down from 10 under to 8 under. Rahm finished his round on 6 under, so he was looking pretty good at that stage. Harman looked like he was wobbling, but he steadied the ship, so 2 birdies in the first 4 holes and then 4 birdies in the next 9. So, he said that even in the first 4 holes, he felt good about the way he was hitting the ball, so he wasn't unduly worried. Now, I think he is trying very hard to manage his nerves at the moment. This was a guy who 6 years ago led the US Open after 54 holes and was pitched to the post on that one. So I think he's trying very hard just to sort of keep the pressure off and say, look, it's just about hitting a golf ball. It's no big deal. But the fact that he went into the 3rd day with a 5-stroke lead and he's going into the 4th day with a 5-stroke lead, it's forgive the cliche, but it's his to lose, and it will take something of a fall off his perch as well as someone else hitting the birdies for Harman not to end up with the claret jug.
So apart from Jon Rahm, who's 6 strokes back and outright third, Cameron Young is there 7 under, so he's closest to Harman. Anybody else lurking, Chris, who might do a Jon Rahm tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, look, there are some useful people around. Victor Hovland is there. Jason Day from Australia. Tommy Fleetwood didn't have a particularly good round, but he went round in even par, so he's still 5 under, 7 off the lead. Rory McIlroy is only 9 off the lead. Now, I say only. We've seen massive swings on the final day of majors, so you never know. Jordan Spieth 10 off the lead, so there's plenty of people there, but in a way it will take, as I said a couple of minutes ago, more than just somebody hitting good form. It will also take Harman dropping some shots, which is quite possible. I always say to people that the back 9 on the final day of a major, everybody is tight to some extent, it's who manages it best. And if Harman can just manage it, then he might make himself untouchable, regardless of how the rest of the field plays.
Another solid round for Kiwi Ryan Fox. 2 under, 4 birdies, 2 bogeys, including birdies on 17 and 18. I know you've spoken to Ryan Fox. We're going to play that interview shortly. But how happy was he overall with his third round?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do effusive, Ryan. But he seemed pretty happy with that. I mean, what impressed me about his round, and I followed him for much of it, there were no silly little putts that he missed. There's normally in a pressured round of 18 holes the odd bad par, the odd bad putt that slips by and causes a bogey. He had 1 bogey in his round, but the only putt that I think he will maybe see tonight when he closes his eyes to go to sleep is the shortish one he had on the 12th, which just sailed past the hole. But I don't think it's made a massive amount of difference. He still felt good. He was giving himself a chance. He played well from tee to green, and his short game's in reasonably good shape. So, if he has another 2 under round tomorrow, that would be 3 under, 2 under, 2 under, and would see him in under par for the whole tournament, which, given how demoralised he was on Thursday evening after his opening round of 78, 7 over par, would be pretty remarkable. And it's certainly the last 2 rounds have gone a long way to restoring his confidence in his game.
Chris, what is the forecast for tomorrow? Are we apocalyptic again, or what are we thinking for round 4?
We are in the realm of not believing the forecasts, I think. I think the forecast for tomorrow is not quite as apocalyptic as it was for today, but if it's still not great, and therefore if tomorrow's forecast is more accurate than today's, then the weather will be worse. I mean, we had persistent rain. We didn't have heavy rain. And I think, to that extent, the course is still fairly dry. The greens are gripping. I mean, the feature hole of this course is the 17th, which is like an upturned saucer. And if we'd had the kind of weather we had in 2006 and 2014, then an awful lot of drives that land pretty near the hole would have rolled away. That's not happening now because of the dampness. So unless we get some really heavy stuff overnight to the point where the course is quite soft and drives are not moving, maybe they're rolling on 10 meters shorter than they are today, then I think it's not going to make that much difference. But who knows? This is a links course. It's by the sea. It's where North Wales meets the coast of Lancashire, that little strip of land between Liverpool and North Wales. And therefore, meteorologically, it can do all sorts of strange things. And that's what we love about it.
We do. We love links golf. Fascinating 4th round in prospect. Chris, great to get your coverage. Thanks for joining us across New Zealand.
Thanks, Jason.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.